Hey everybody, welcome back to X's for Show for your season 18 quarter check-in. I am NICO.
And I'm TK.
Which makes me Tori.
I'm Jonah.
And that makes me your producer, KEVO. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment so we know what you want us to cover in the future. But we are here to talk about some design challenge yet again on season 18.
And we have had quite a season so far. So far, we've lost Didi Fuego. We've lost the incredible Mandy Mango. And now we've lost Briar Blush, who was kind of a divisive figure this episode. And I know that there's some behind-the-scenes shenanigans that we're going to talk about. And there's some real-life drama that affected her. But all in all, this made for, as TK said to me privately, an uncomfortable episode.
Yeah, that's the best word I have for it. It was uncomfortable.
I'm never much for a bully girl. Like, that's not my kind of queen. And like, I completely understand that there are factors that did affect my performance in this episode, but I was particularly like strengthened by Mia being like, I'm gonna call you out on some stuff. And like, that was the hottest thing I've seen in a while. I don't necessarily think everything needs to get taken down, but I like seeing someone get in there and defend someone who clearly feels icky about defending themselves. I wonder if Athena felt that in her position as tied for the oldest with Vita, anything defending herself would, number one, be read as school marming, and number two, be seen as lowering her station. But you know, bullies come from all angles, and while I don't know that I would use that as the noun to describe Briar as a whole, we were entreated to some uncomfortable behavior, and then they added that there was more backstage. So, like, this was more drama than was in the first 3 episodes combined.
I mean, you know, I very much appreciated the simplicity of you can dish it out, but you can't take it. Like, you've been poking everybody, and then I said something to you that you felt was out of pocket. And like, I'll even admit that I might have done that, but rather than saying something to me, you could not hack it at all. Like, you just couldn't handle it. That just is the case. Like, I don't, unless they really cut it differently and there was a lot of other stuff going on completely separate from what happens in the rest of the episode. I actually, when I sent you the text about this being an uncomfortable episode, it wasn't done yet, and I hadn't watched Untucked. By the end of it, I actually liked Briar sort of back at the level where I had liked her before the episode started. So it really was like, came into the episode, was really just the post runway from last week filming was that was a bad moment for her. And Mia was completely right. If you're going to literally poke people when they tell you to stop touching them, which is like, I could not keep the composure that Athena had there. And then, you know, Mia points out, like, you literally do that to people. And then when somebody says something you don't like, you completely shut down, and it's not fair. And it's actually a bigger deal. Ugly, stupid, not how anybody should behave, hypocritical, bad. And then the rest of the episode is weird. And then we get to the end. And for me, I thought Briar left on what she should have felt like was a very proud exit. So if nothing else, I liked that for her.
I agree. You know, it's like we were talking about on one of our other feeds. Hey, like, subscribe, click the bell icon, get in on the magic. But, you know, we don't believe in over cancel culture. We believe in responsibility culture, where if you are smart enough to see that you've hurt someone and you apologize and you make the effort to do better, you should be allowed to have like a dignified goodbye. And so I vibe you on that so hard. Guys, what did you think was more awkward? Some of the Briar stuff or Mandy's weird exit line?
Hey, let a mango cook.
Hey, you know we are birds people here, but it was, I'm like hoping that it was like a famous poem. I just don't know. Like, when 2 mangoes diverge in the wood, I prefer to take the one less slurped. I just don't know it, and I'm hoping that it's out there. I'm hoping that this is just something I don't remember from Walt Whitman.
It was giving Dr. Seuss.
Come on, Dr. Seuss. So here's the thing about Briar. I think from what I understand and the things I've seen elsewhere, she's just the type of girly who likes to rage bait. She likes to poke people. She likes to get a response. And part of that is she knows what makes good TV. She understands the value of coming across a certain way to create a storyline, to create drama, and that lets you stay a little bit longer than somebody else. However, you have to be careful with playing around with people like that because, as we can see, some people felt like it crossed a line. And especially when someone might be a little bit more sensitive to their own things, it definitely did come across a certain way of like, oh, so you can joke this way, but nobody else is allowed to. I think she's got a beautiful face. I think her personal style is incredible. And she kind of was a main character for 4 episodes. So it's unfortunately more than we can say about Mandy, who they did not want there at all in the slightest. And that makes me sad because I think she's a lot more talented and entertaining than they let her be. And I felt like she was destined to be cut earlier. That's how they deemed it, because I don't really think she was that bad.
And Jonah, I just think you're also really onto something, because I feel like Brier is also more talented and full of high concept drag energy than they let her be, because they wanted her in this role. And so I really think you're right that production does really shape out how we see these girls. Speaking of seeing these girls, Tori, you come here 1000%. Like, I think you might have to file a police report because you are so beat for the gods. So tell me, where are you on these girls?
I'm still so excited by so many of them. I'm loving it. I liked what Miss Fuego was bringing in the workroom. I really liked Mandy Mango's energy. I think she's so sweet and so much energy and so ready to do anything. I thought a lot of her judges' criticisms were a little strange, but I think for, when it comes to Brier, she's been like my little Sour Patch Kid. She's sweet, she's sour, she's all of the above, and I think she's just went too far into whatever character she decided to pick for herself before coming in here. I feel like she came in with an idea of how she was going to be, and it didn't go in her favor. I enjoyed a lot of what she was doing on the runway and like how she was approaching things, but I was not enjoying the way she just kept poking at people when it was becoming obvious, even to me through the edit, that not everyone was in on this game. So while I believe that her feint was real, I can understand why in the moment a lot of the gals questioned it.
Yes, and what I want to add about Brier fainting, she revealed on What You Packin' that she had pneumonia, and it went undiagnosed into her going to Drag Race, which, being in a very tough environment like that's very full of stress and a lot that could be anxiety-inducing, on top of the physical pain and torture that people have to put themselves in to do drag, especially for a show like this. Yeah, it makes sense that this all kind of came to a head. It actually did get so bad that she got sepsis because it was being treated improperly. She's better now, and she's good now, but this... I agree with you. I understand why some people's their first reaction was, no, this is a stunt. But other people had to be like, would she?
One time, my father, a number of years ago, had a heart attack, and I had to call my job and be like, hey, I'm not going to be in. My dad is sick. And they're like, oh, family member sick? Man, that's like the worst excuse I've ever heard. And I was like, but also my father really did have a heart attack. Like sometimes like the things that are, the go-to excuse, they really happen. And so like it's a thing. KEVO, I also just want to applaud you for having a screenshot of Ru doing the Discord walk, and I just want to say I'm so happy for Discord. She's gonna get to be in the 2nd season of Monarch, playing one of the kaiju. No, I'm kidding. It is what I think it was Mia who said it to her. This is your walk now. You're gonna make money on this.
Vita.
It was Vita. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're gonna make money on this. This is your signature. Don't stop. Yeah. Like, turn what people laugh at into a strength. Be Elle Woods. So, although I know she hates rainbows and pink.
It's tough because it's very difficult to recognize when something is so terrible it has gone around the bend and is great. And
I don't think it's done it that yet. I don't think it's done it yet.
I might agree. I don't know. I don't know where we're at with this.
Yeah, I think the boomerang has hit the turn, but it's not.
We haven't seen it come back around yet. I think that could potentially be a fair assessment. This is another one of those things too with Briar that I sort of do blame production, because I think that the entirety of the episode didn't have to be cut this way. It would have been very possible to maybe even like entirely cut Briar fainting out and just mention that something had happened to, like, that Briar had exited. Showing the whole thing and showing Vita saying it's fake is a bit inconsiderate of the queen, because the show is saying, hey, we're not saying who said what or who's right. We are leaving this here for your information, which is in its own way sort of being like it's not supporting Briar in this being real. It's saying if you want to say it's not real, somebody else agrees with you, even though, like, as Briar has said, everybody learned later that it was totally real. I just feel like, we've seen a couple people go away, and however that happened was not really filmed. The one that immediately comes to mind is Cornbread. And I imagine a lot of that is because it happened off stage. But even still, there were ways to at least cut this down a lot, to do both the villain heavy storyline of like Briar can dish it out, but she can't take it, and then to fully show this entire episode, including a lot of comments about people not believing her, I think is a bit rude. I think we could have lived without it. Briar went home anyway. Again, this is an editing decision, so like this is also extra time that they could have cut out of they did not need to use this. The episode had other content that they had intended to fill it with before this happened. It was going to be a full-length episode. They didn't need this specifically, so they chose to cut this in. I think it's a bit unfair to Briar, and then to pair it with that edit, I think was a very conscious decision and an unfair one.
KEVO, as our editor, would you have left it in? And how are you feeling about these girls this season, the moment?
I believe in the truth, so I would keep it in, perhaps. TK made some really important points that also lean back into what Jonah said, where she got such a main character edit for only 4 episodes this season. And one of the things that is always so crazy as you watch a season of Drag Race is, as girls fall away, you kind of sort of start to forget the girls from the beginning, not in an insulting way, but the ones who last start to make more and more of an impression. And to have gone through so much story in just 4 episodes, that is very interesting. Something Tori said as well, the choices that she made for her own story, it is very interesting. It did feel sometimes like she wanted to be the villain, but then she also wanted to be sympathetic, which is where she got into this thing with Mia. But, you really can't guarantee how long you are going to be here, no matter what. As I always like to say, the poor Ivy Winter out, where you don't know, it could be a scent challenge and your scent just sucks. You can't guarantee that you're going to be here for a full season for any number of reasons. So to try and do so much so fast, I think she also burnt through a lot of story that was available for her. Where was there to even go after all of this? So, I found her,
you gotta show a little more, I guess, to get a redemption would be my guess. I don't think the gals were interested in making nice with her after this point.
That's even like a big part of where I was a little thrown off by the way the challenge came together, and I was really excited to see that it was partner up with your sister challenge, but then I was pickled when it wound up being Juicy and Briar together, because for me, and it's just me, but like if Briar was serious about burying this hatchet with Athena, I would have, as that role, probably not tried to then take Juicy for the team up, unless what we don't understand is no one else was interested in working with Briar, and so she knew to play to her hand. But then for it to be versus, like that's a Project Runway nonsense where it's like, oh no, you guys designed together.
I loved.
I was surprised.
That's why I made sure to grab the fact that Briar is arm in arm with both Mikey and Juicy from the start of when Rue walks in. So it's also just that she in general was glommed on to Juicy, and it happened to be pair up with someone. So she was able to just grab.
It's one of those challenges where it's a big surprise, everything's exciting, and I think part of it is the actual designs. I don't disagree with some of the judging, but it was one of those things where like some of the pairs were all the way up here. Like, was it Mia and Vita were a pair, and they were out of this world. And then there were some pairs where I don't think I loved either so much. And so like that, it kind of played a factor, especially when you're a drag queen, your job is to be an overall entertainer. Being a designer is really wonderful. If you happen to be a Vita who is also a designer at heart, that is incredible. But, for as much as I respect Discord's fashion, she came out there looking like Ursula about to perform Poor Unfortunate Souls. And like, that was crazy. Not bad. She had 24 hours and she killed it. But also, I was thinking perhaps if you needed to kill that outfit, you would need a harpoon or a big ship. So it made things a little tough because the pairings did dictate that like some girls were just in the harder bracket and some girls were in the easier bracket.
There was a lot of interesting language used, and I sort of wish, again, like we could have ditched the Briar stuff to stop and talk about it more. They talked a lot about selling it and wearing it best. There were a lot of things here where it was like, it sort of doesn't matter whose outfit is technically the design challenge winner. It matters who sold it. I actually think I like Discord's a lot better than Jane's, but I feel Discord didn't sell hers at all, and the walk really hindered her. But like, if I just see a picture of it like this, to me, I find it more compelling. But Jane sold hers. She wore it best. She walked the runway with hers best. And this, to me, felt like a challenge that was really about a lot of those elements, as well as like who actually designed the best garment. The pairings made that an interesting thing to judge, a complicated thing to judge.
Okay, but the judging was wrong on Nene and Mikey. I love Nene with all my heart. Fellow NICO, think that he is a beautiful man and a beautiful queen, but genuinely, it looks like a poorly wrapped presents from a knockoff Nordstrom at the mall. Like, I do not love the wrap job. I think the bodysuit is beautiful, and I also, when she came out, I did say that don't impress me much. But I think Mikey's is beautiful, but like, I would never have put Nene in the bottom for it either. I wouldn't have sent her home. She would have been safe.
Yeah.
But I think this is particularly visually challenging to vote for.
This pair and the Darlene Athena pair were the ones where I thought they should be flipped, and of course, and that neither of those pairs needed to be either actual tops or bottoms. Like that they were both perfectly safe, but I would have flipped who won the verses on each other in my personal thought. This was also Darlene Mitchell coming out in this. It just blew me away. I'm starting to get, I think she might be higher than I had originally thought she might place. I think Darlene's got a lot going for her because she's pulling out some really fierce runways amongst her.
I didn't think this pleaser was so offensive either. Am I crazy?
Kenya's
was pretty bad.
Kenya's was constructed well. It was not. It did not say meat dress to me either. And also the denim was there, I guess.
I'm with you. I don't know. It looks crazy to me. Like, it looks like something you would have somebody wear in a B movie to look fancy.
Aunt Mama Tycoon done come to town to tell us how to, get dressed for the party later or something. Like, it's specific, but not right for this. Not elevated enough for where we are.
And Sierra's is so good.
Sierra's
is
hold
so
on.
good.
I have a bone to pick with that. I felt like Sierra's, the promise and the concept of Sierra's was really good. The execution, it really surprised. Like, as cool as the Fascinator was, it looked extremely costumey and extremely crafty. I was surprised that no judge like, you can kind of see it in that last picture that KEVO had. Like, when it's at an angle, you can see that it's not, like, it doesn't have a very professional look to it. And that's okay. That happens a lot on Drag Race. Like, Briar's whole outfit looked like that. But they were praising her so much, and I loved the design. And this as like a prototype to me was great. But I didn't think I think the concept was leagues above Kenya's, but actual execution, I thought these two were much closer to my eye than was mentioned in judging.
I would also say that I know this is Rue's show, so Rue does get to pick who wins. But I think Law Roach being here did what it did on Project Runway when we watched it, which is that it's the stylization that they really are looking at in these. The cleaner styling, the less busy styling tended to win across the board. And which is unusual because RuPaul is verges on a maximalist. So to see it go so different is kind of fascinating and I think unfortunate for some of these choices.
And it's because it also ran such a gamut. I think so many of the girls looked like a really lovely polished. So many of the girls had this high class to them, and it's so interesting that both Kenya and Darlene leaned into like kind of like country western ho-don't, that I think it created some amount of uneven in the lineup. And the other place that I think the conversation might need to steer is like, Vita is going to keep killing it at fashion challenges. And like, I think there's like a Van Gogh level to Vita's command of the design challenges. And not that any one of these other girls isn't a designer, but already you can see when, like, there are so many musical artists you would never believe don't have a Grammy. Wicked lost the Tony to Avenue Q. These things happen, And so, like, it's not to say that an incredibly talented person is untalented because it isn't recognized, but you should already see that what Vita's doing resonates with the judges. And that doesn't mean do what Vita does, but that means be aware of the modality that you are being compared in. Be aware of the rubric that's being brought up. And I mean, like, I don't think anybody has been that fabulous a candelabra since John Tartaglia was Lumiere. And so, like, there's a certain sense of like, no, Mia, as great as your dress is, you're not going to win with a tit out compared to a chandelier.
And I think, but they also talked about this a lot, where like several of the girls who were with the seamstresses were like, I'm just here to try to make sure I'm not in the bottom. I'm gonna do my best, but I know I'm not winning this one-on-one.
Other than just the general of this being a tough challenge, I think it's really interesting that we've had like unusual judging 2 episodes in a row. Last week, Rue only read half the cue card, told half the girls they were safe, and then remembered there was more to read. This week, 6 girls were tops, 6 girls were bottoms, and then it turned out 6 girls were safe instead. It's really been interesting because at season 18, we really do need some way to kind of play with this and make something exciting out of it, which is why I think next week's 2-part talent show Rate a Queen, that's the shiznat. That's amazing because you need something that kind of turns it on its head. And I guess it doesn't really turn it on its head because we did have a talent show Rate a Queen, but we didn't have it in the middle of the season. So
right, that is the one
Ooh.
thing that like their personal feelings are going to be a lot higher right now. They're going to have a lot more to say about each other.
And I think having 3 people out and just, I mean, it's funny because it's going over 2 episodes, so it's going to seem like a longer talent show, but it's going to be fewer people. If a lot of people are doing a number that they're lip syncing to with some choreo, it's not going to feel so saturated. And like when somebody does one that's good and stands out, I'm not going to have the reaction of like, right, but I've seen literally 8 others of these. I'm bored now. Like, even if we're dropping that number down to 6, that's enough to make somebody stand out. So I think it's an interesting choice. I hope it works out in the girls' favor.
Jonah, how are you feeling about a mid-season talent show with Rate a Queen elements split over 2 episodes with 2 sets of queen ratings?
I am bewildered, befused. What is going on here up on this day? I don't know. I don't know how to feel, because on one hand, I often like the talent show because I never like anybody to feel like, well, if the first challenge is something I don't normally do, and it's not in my drag fantasy, then I can't win. I'm going to go home on something that's not my fault, which is fair in one sense. In the other sense, that the show often asks for many, 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 many talents that are very hard to become from multiple people all in one. So the talent show being later kind of irks me just a little bit. But on the other hand, it is what it is. I hope that everybody has a good handle on everything, and I'm excited.
Woo.
Majority of these girls are phenomenal performers, so I'm excited to see them be able to perform in a way where they don't have to feel confined to a girl group or worry about losing a lip sync. So I'm really excited about that.
Tori, talent me up. This is Miss Congeniality. How do you feel about these girls, their talents, and what's up?
I hope we get to see some talent. Is mostly where it's mostly, we don't know a whole lot of what's coming. I think in the trailer we saw Discord playing music. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of first singles coming out with dancing and things. I honestly, with this group, I don't think we're going to get anything really related to a talent, except out of maybe Mikey might give us something different. So I'm looking forward to being like, good job, great song, yay. I don't know. I've been pretty clear in the past that I think that the talent show should be, hey, you're not allowed to lip sync. You're not allowed to do your own song. Shoo shoo.
Shoo shoo.
You're going to have to do it anyways. So why would you get to do it here as a talent? I very much get that.
And also so many of these songs are like drag queen songs where it's just like anybody could be singing this, literally anyone. There's no point of view. There's no like difference. It's got the same beat as 7 other ones. Like, I'm just, show me something different. I know that y'all didn't like the Justin Elvosk's talent number.
Original song.
Yeah, I loved
it. They, my fellow compatriots here didn't.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. It had something to say. It was very specific. It was specifically for the talent show. It wasn't her being like, here's what I hope goes #1 next week and I can perform at the clubs. Like, I just found it to be really smart and really clever and possibly one of the best original song talent shows we'll see.
It's so funny because my problem with it is just the reflexive value of it then was exactly that. And we've had funnier original songs. So I feel like it's really how you feel about it, because like what you're like pass on, I would rather like what I would consider a your heart's all in it original song. So it's just a matter of your taste. Like one isn't better than the other. One isn't high taste and one isn't low taste. It's just how it hits you. But for me, I think I am at a point where like you should have to register your talents in advance and you should have 3 choices. You know, see how far you can throw a fish. It might be further than you think. See if you can, doing a musical number, or number 3 is sword swallowing. And they might say to you, we can only have 2 numbers, and 2 girls had singing at number 1. So anybody who had their song at number 2, sorry, you're doing your number 1 talent. Or they might say, okay, we had to pick out of a lotto, because I do feel like it does wind up being too much same. And I'm looking for a little more dynamic opportunity to see these girls shine instead of seeing them do what they do at the end of every episode. And honestly, when your original track isn't as good as a Lady Gaga song, I'm probably going to be a little bit less impressed with your original track mixed by some guy you found on SoundCloud. Hey guys, check me out, NICO Action Music on SoundCloud. And then I am in what you would normally have to perform within the scope of the show. KEVO, talk to me. Are you here for songs? Are you here for monologues? Are you here to see people paint and think about RuPaul?
And eggs. I love a talent show, but I also understand and agree with Tori's fears that this is just a place for girls to showcase their single. And I think I am more comfortable with that for an opening talent show because it is giving such a tepid introduction to who you are. But at this point, you actually do need to start showing more. And so if that's all we are going to see from them for this talent show, now 5 and then 6 episodes in, that's not really enough. I love the caveats that NICO suggested. And in general, I love the idea of putting specific requirements on what you can do, because this is supposed to be challenges. It's supposed to be challenging. There's no mini challenges this season, apparently. So you got to be making up for that somehow. So yeah, we'll see. I sort of fall in between on the original song because I get where NICO is coming from. It is, at the end of the day, still just your own original song. So you still got it in there. But I get what it was trying to do, and it was trying to say something about the practice while giving an original song. And so that I can appreciate it for, and that's what I'm looking for, is new stuff. A lot of these girls claim to have grown up on this show now. Then you should know what has already been done, and you should be looking for new things to introduce and make your ways to make yourself stand out.
I love it. I'm here for it. I want to just give everybody a moment to say goodbye to the girls that are gone. And I will say that of Dee, Mandy, and Brier, I think all 3 are phenomenally talented. If any of them came through on a tour, if any of them came through and did a night at my local club at Paradise, I would want to be there in an instant. But the girl I'm going to miss the most is probably Mandy. It's not a matter of you need to show heart and personality for me to care, but there is something to why we connect with a girl who gets more talking heads than others, like when they have the opportunity to express who they are, and who Mandy expressed. Maybe it's the Philly boy in me, maybe it's the respect for nurses, maybe it's that selfie, but I am 2000% here for more Mandy and Dee and Brier, of course, but Mandy's my girl. Everybody, I would love to know where we can find you and which of the 3 girls you're lining up the hardest for tickets. Jonah, talk to me.
If you want to follow me places online to hear my opinion, you follow me places at Peak Jonah. For me, my money, I'm a Mandy Mango kind of girl. Let me slurp it up. Love me some good old... Mango's just a great fruit. It's delicious. It's tropical. It's perfect. It's hard to cut. So you know what? Give me some more Mandy Mango. I'm not just saying that because I live in Philly.
Right? Well, I really get it. Same vote here. But speaking of votes and wanting to know where we can find you, Tori, tell me, where can we find you and which girl are you looking to find?
You can find me online at smtori. That's Tori with an I. I'm looking forward to seeing all these gals and the way that they're interacting. I really enjoyed the way that the Canada girls were interacting all over during the season. And so I'm going to love seeing all these little bits and pieces. I've really been enjoying Juicy's been doing the lip sync song herself every week. That's been really fun for me.
I love that. Speaking of, I love that. KEVO, talk to me. Girl, your locale, and that's really both of my questions.
Like you said, I really cared a lot for Mandy. She was very sweet as the mango puns go. So it's sad to see her go so early. That's the breaks of a show like this. A lot of great girls are going to be cut early on. It's nothing against Dee Dee. I would have loved to see more from her. I'm a little bit worried about other queens, as I can see from this board. Kenya's been in the bottom twice, so she's going to have to keep an eye out for that, because I'm really loving her a lot. I'm loving all these queens so far, and I'm excited to see more from them, and you can find me, theoretically, talking about that at KEVO Really. That's KEVO
TK, talk to me. Ooh, I love that. And does the TK stand for talk? Right, because what I want you to do, talk to me.
Yeah, it does now.
And I want to know what girl you all about, and from the cut ones, from the live ones, whatever. Not that the girls that were cut are dead or anything, but from the cut ones, from the live ones, fill me with knowledge of that and where to find you. Just fill me.
Okay, let's see here. I really did by the end lament the fact that Brier was leaving. I thought she had a cool person. For one thing, great exit line. Like I said before, she walked out with a lot of pride and dignity, and I really respect that. Sometimes an ice cold Boston girl breaks, and that Boston exterior that we've seen from the likes of Corey King and Jane, where you can just straight-facedly troll all day long and never bat an eyelash. Sometimes that breaks. Brier has shown us that, the New England girlies can be more than just ice queens who are very hot. So
you hear that, Ben Affleck?
Yeah. But keep doing insanely large Dunkin' orders and getting caught on camera with them. That's helping us, I think. I feel like it must be. So I really will miss Brier. As far as who's left, I don't know, man. I feel like I like a girl and then I don't like her at all the next week, and I'm just not in I'm just like, I get bored.
Sister, he's fickled.
Yeah, I'm quite fickled. Yeah, but I think really Nene is just the standout for me. I mean, I can't. I love her every week. And she's so cute, dude.
Oh my god, who knew that Liza Minnelli's boy was hot?
Engineer to engineer, the fact that she made her entire runway package, that she does her own way.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, is that what I could use my engineering degree for?
Yeah.
In that
she's
image,
wearing her own merch in that shirt.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, in that image, he seriously looks like he could be an extra on 911 Nashville. It's wild.
Yes.
Ooh, I like that shirt. Maybe that's what I like.
Yeah. For sale.
So yeah, I mean, like, consistently, I have noticed that Nene Coco has been one that I have liked, and everybody else I'm just still up in the air about. Maybe the talent show will help me figure it out. If you want to talk to me about this or anything else, you just find me at TK Accidental on your socials. Nico, take us home. Who's your girls? What's going on? Where do we find you?
Well, I was
music.
Music. Yeah, no
music.
Sure.
Music.
I already voted on Cut Girls. I'm out here to support some Mandy. But for girls that are still in the game, I am definitely feeling Athena and Nene. They are like the two halves of my style. I'm all about it. And if you guys want to check me out, NICO Action, NICOACTION. Like I said earlier, if you want to check out my music, NICO Action Music, NICOACTION MUSIC, you can check that out here on YouTube or over on SoundCloud. I got tracks for days. But speaking of things for you, we have an amazing channel here. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe at X's for Comics, X's for Show, and more. Click that bell icon so you can get notified for whenever we drop one of these amazing videos and or go live. Don't laugh at me. I'm Mr. Mojo. So The other thing that I want you guys to do, 3 things. It's number 1, please stay safe. It was a crazy snowstorm if you're in the Northeast. Number 2, please be brave. You got to be brave and get out there and shovel. Number 3, evolve daily. Who you were yesterday, incredible. Who you are today, amazing. But who you are tomorrow has the longest Dunkin' Donuts order. And until you're ready to Dunkin' up like a Northeasterner, we'll see you.